evening, everybody, and welcome to the Choir Directors Academy. I am your host, Angela Elaine. I'm thankful for you all making it here out on tonight. Listen, we got a short show for you. Just some few things that I observed. This is probably more geared towards the church choir directors as opposed to the performance choirs or the community choirs or even school choirs. Because there's like a different world that we kind of operate in. We don't, all the times we don't have the abilities to work with the best or whatever. We work with what we have. But this show is about choir directors working smarter. One thing I've noticed, being a choir director in a church is a little more, it's very stressful at times. And we can get overwhelmed because we follow the examples of our predecessors. You know, it's amazing how we can use technology to our advantage in everything else. We can revamp everything else. You know, that's the old way. We can do away with that. We can do it this way. But why are we still doing things neolithically? Yes, I did use that word, Stone Age mentality, when it comes to managing our choirs. One thing I've learned is that people develop and they will do as much as you allow them to do. A lot of times we try to keep a tight rein on things and keep it to where only, you know, we have it rolling the way that we want, and all the time that's not the way. All the time that's not the way. So we need to learn how to free ourselves and take on less responsibility and shift. I was thinking we have to learn how to shift the responsibility of learning new songs to the choir. A lot of times our directors, I find, and as I sit through rehearsals, they have me to come in. I notice that the choir director, they're playing, they're teaching, they're taking attendance, they're, just a whole host of things. And I'm sitting there like, let me throw this disclaimer in there. I do understand that if you have a smaller congregation, there are a lot more things you have to do, but even then you can allocate or delegate some stuff away. We get all stressed out and tired, and we tend to be less patient when we're upset or we're stressed because we have so many different things to do. But I was thinking we have to learn. One thing I noticed is that some choir directors are still doing the manual thing as far as contacting people about rehearsal. Why are you not using text messages and social media to contact your choir members and let them know there's no rehearsal, or we have a change or whatever? Some people are still making manual phone calls, calling each and every person, telling them different things. Learn to use the technology that we have, technology resources and human resources. Learn to shift. You're not losing control because you let somebody else take up the offering, or you let somebody else do an opening song, or you let somebody else do the opening prayer. Or if you have talented people that know how to teach parts, let them assist you in teaching. You're not losing anything. Why do we consistently wear ourselves out? I don't understand that. And so this show is about ideas, just simple ideas that you can use to spread the work. Noted, and for those of you who did not see the show from last week, you missed it. Dr. Cynthia Nunn dropped some nuggets and some things that we need to impart into our choirs, but we also need to let it sink down inside of us. Scroll down once the show is over, or you can do it now, it doesn't matter. But scroll down and watch the show from last week. We're already over 3,000 views. So that's saying that she really gave some information that I would advise everyone to look at. But if your department cannot function without you being there, then there's an issue, and we need to work on that. So learn to use technology to your advantage. Communicating the songs. I was thinking also, when you're teaching, when you have music that you want to give, don't let the rehearsal be the first time that the people in the choir hear the song. Don't let that be your first time. Text them and give them the song before. Let YouTube be a teacher. Let them download the music. Put some of the responsibility on them. Turn it more from you doing it to them investing in themselves. You have to do that. Don't you be the one that's doing all of the pouring out. Put it on them. Let them see that they're investing in themselves, and you'll be surprised. I did that. You know, I used to do everything. Wear myself out trying to teach a song or trying to make a new arrangement or whatever. What I do is I text everybody the song, and when you come to rehearsal, you need to know this song. There's YouTube. If you got your iPod or your Samsung or whatever you got, you download the song and you learn it on your own. And that makes your rehearsals much easier because people are already familiar with what you're doing. Let's not be Neolithic in our mannerism. We have all of this help. Let's take advantage of it. You have people in your choir that can do administrative functions. Why are you still taking attendance? Why are you sitting there still collecting the dues? Why are you doing all of this? When you have people, you may say, well, they don't really understand or they don't really know. Use what you got and let them. Sometimes people can do more than what you think they can. They will sit there and let you do it all. They'll let you sit there and just be like, well, okay, well, you never came to me and said anything. Learn to delegate. Shift the responsibility. And you'll be surprised when you put certain people in position and give them something to do, it makes them become more involved. Okay? And that's what you want them to do. And the more involved they become, the more they will influence others to become a part. You'll be surprised. Appoint section leaders. If you got a nice size, and I understand, everybody doesn't have a big flowing choir, but do what you can to shift the work from you onto others. And one other thing I was thinking also, don't try to pick something so complex from your choir. I mentioned this maybe about 2 months ago, but I'm reiterating it again because I'm seeing the same thing when I go to choir rehearsals. Don't try to pick a song that's beyond your choir. If they barely can hold a note wrapped around their neck and around their arm, if they can barely hold it for 5 minutes, then leave Richard Smallwood alone. Just keep it simple. Take the songs that are super simple, and just roll from there. Let's not create havoc. Sometimes we do that, and then we wonder why things aren't working right, and then we get upset, and then it's like and what happens is that your choir rehearsal becomes discombobulated. It gets all out of character and all whatever because you're stressed because it's not going the way that you want it to go. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is make sure that it's going the right, that everything is going the right way. Do that. Song selections. Set goals for your choir. Set goals for them. Don't sit there and pardon me, just 1 second because I'm trying to do something right quick. But don't sit there and try to do it all by yourself. That is not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Don't try to do it all by yourself because you're going to be exhausted and overworked. Set goals for the choir, short term, long term. What do you want to accomplish in the short time that you're there? Okay, what do you want to accomplish? Think about it. I'm looking down because I don't want to touch the screen because you know how I always do. I always hit the wrong button. But what do you want to accomplish? Seriously, what do you want to accomplish with your choir? Short term, what do you want to see them do? Okay, because a lot of times we see other people, and it could be another small choir. We'll see other people doing things, and then we just grab and try to run, and it may not be applicable for you at that time. So think about it. What are your short-term goals? What do you want the choir to do quickly? What do you want them to learn how to do? You want them to learn how to be more involved in their singing? Do you want them to start coming to choir rehearsal more? Whatever. You know your choir better than I do. That's just some things. A shout out to Timothy and Aaron Simpson. Thank you. Exactly. Leave Richard Smallwood and leave him alone. Exactly. Leave him alone. If I have seen people just butcher songs and you just sitting there like, and then they have, everybody, they all know that I was part of the How Sweet the Sound alumnus. And they're like, well, how do we sound? Well, I'm not going to tell you a story. I'm like, I don't like to pick out negativity. So I tell, well, they had the enthusiasm. Which they did. But know your choir. Set your long-term goal. What do we want to do? Do we want to become a competition choir? Or do we just want to be a regular just a regular church choir and we're going to stay in the four walls and that's it? I'm not a four-wall person. I I like to get out. You know, some of my choir members like to stay in the four walls. Not me. I like to get out and, you know, see other choirs and learn. Okay, you're not gonna get anywhere just staying in the four walls. And that brings me to another point. As a director, we can hit stagnation so quickly. And when I say that, that means that you begin to sing the same songs over and over. You do the same thing over and over. When you become stagnant, the choir becomes stagnant. And in that case, you become lazy and you get to the point where you don't care. That can set in. A lot of choir members get burnt out because you're just doing the same thing over. It's nothing new. I recommend that all choir directors, and it doesn't matter what level. Now, some of you may be, you know, maybe superstars or whatever, but even those like Dr. Nunn and a lot of people I know, you just go to a concert as a non-performer. Because when you're going and you're part of the concert, you don't retain anything. Your mind is on getting up on this stage and what we're singing, and I hope they come in on time. I hope they follow me. That's what your mind is. Your mind is not on enjoying anything. I make it my business to go to concerts where I am just I hate the word spectator, but actually that's what I am. I'm a spectator. I participate, you know, in the audience, singing, clapping, you know, whatever. But I go because you learn so much. You pick up ideas. And as a musician as well, I pick up, you know, new chords and a lot of different things. And we have to be replenished. Okay, we give out so much, so you need to be replenished. That's your way, whatever your way is. Some people like to go fishing, and that's how they get replenished. I like going to concerts, and I love going to the Chicago Symphony Orchestra concerts. I love that. You just sit there with all of the strings and the percussion instruments and all of the horns. That is refreshing to me because I get ideas. And even when I go to a regular artist, gospel artist or whoever's concert, I get ideas and learn. You need to go and get replenished. You need to take a break. Even if you miss a choir rehearsal, that's not a bad thing. I miss them as well, because sometimes you just need to regroup. And going, daily stress, you have families, you have so many different things that you have to do, and then you're carrying that load as well. And God help you if you're trying to do it all by yourself. That's not healthy anyway. Even on a job, that's not healthy for you if you're a manager and you're trying to handle everything yourself. That God did not ask us to do all of that. Okay, Moses tried, and what happened? His father-in-law told him, Jethro said, look, what you're doing is not good. You need to spread this around. And seriously, if he did that, what about us? Even Jesus had 12 disciples. One of them was bad, but he had 12 disciples. He had to spread it around. You cannot do everything. You are not a robot. You are not superhuman. Okay, remember that. You're not a robot and you're not superhuman. You have to replenish yourself and take a break and do other things. Other thing you need to do, I found to be helpful, and one of my presenters 2 months ago, John L. Harris, he's the choir director or minister of music for Greater Harvest Baptist Church. He had a great idea. Now, I realize all of us don't have a massive department as he does, but the theory behind what he does helps in that he plans out his songs. He has a spreadsheet where he writes down everything that he sings, that they sang that particular Sunday. He has a huge department, so they sing anywhere between 11 and 12 songs. And I know we all got smaller things, but anyway, the same theory applies, because even if you have a small choir in a smaller church, if you realize that sometimes you will be singing the same thing over and over, but he has a spreadsheet. He said he has a couple of people that he has sitting with him, and he lists the songs out to make sure that he's not being repetitive, because he doesn't want to get into that mode of just doing the same thing over and over. That's a tip that you can use. You can just have a little notepad like this. I write stuff down. You know, whenever the choir sings, I write it down and say, okay, we sang this, and this. So I know not to come back to that song at least for a month or two. I try not to sing it within 3 months. Have you some songs? You know, I went through that maybe 3 months ago, because we've been in existence 4 months. 3 months ago, I went through that about you writing out, identifying your songs that, those songs that tear the church up. Every time you see it, the church go in. Yeah, you need to put those on the sidebar and not sing those all the time. Oh, my Lady of Wisdom is here. Demetri Pitts. Yes, it created what I call a worship agenda. Exactly. That's referencing back to what I mentioned about Jonell Nicholas. He had a spreadsheet. You should do that. Even if you write it out on paper, do that. Okay? So that will help limit stagnation, because the congregation, people in the audience are funny, but then also the choir gets funny. If they keep singing the same songs over and over, no new material is being introduced. And that's why I mentioned to you earlier about using the technology to your advantage. Okay? Texting the messenger group. Send the information out. Tell them to go to YouTube or wherever to get the information. That invokes, especially when you're dealing with young people. We got a lot of millennials coming in the choir now. So, some of the old methods of doing everything in a, that kind of old-fashioned way, you have to change and update to a degree. We don't get rid of the principles. My father always talked to me about, methods are many, principles a few. How did he have that? Anyway, what he was saying was methods change, but principles never do. The principles of music, the principles of how we should run an organization, those things never change. But we can update our methods. That's what I'm trying to get over to each of you. Delegation. Remember, you're not losing your authority because you delegate. Okay? That's not a sin. Taking a vacation from the choir, it's not a sin. Basically, if you have a good size aggregation of people and you've delegated responsibilities, if that department falls apart while you stepped away for 3-4 hours, you had to miss a service because you had to work or whatever, or you on vacation, and it falls apart, then there's something wrong. You understand what I'm saying? We are so controlled and so possessive. We don't want anybody to we have a fear that somebody's going to take our jobs away from us, or we're going to be removed, or somebody's going to outshine us. We have to get past that, because that's putting stress and pressure on the inside. That's what I'm saying. You got to work smarter. Once you realize who you are, and I've realized that exactly anything stagnant will begin to smell. I realized that it doesn't take anything away from me to share responsibilities. We gotta understand that as leaders. We're not losing anything. And like I tell my choir or any other group that I may be directing with them, I don't care if you levitate everybody off the floor and people flying around the ceiling speaking in an unknown tongue in everybody else's language. It doesn't matter. If this is my appointed time to be the leader, I don't care what you do. When I step up there, it's going to be a shift in the atmosphere, because I'm the one that he mandated at the time. You really have to be secure within yourself and know who you are and whose you are, and it won't be a problem. You won't have a problem delegating and sharing. Where we have a problem is when we don't really know who we are. We don't know. We're insecure in a lot of different areas. We don't know. So that's why we hoard everything and won't let anybody learn or grow. Part of you being a minister of music, a choir director, music director, director of music, whatever your title is, you need to be mentoring somebody else. You need to be training somebody to come behind you. That's part of leadership. That is part of exactly. Demetrius said, leaders share, managers hoard. Yes, they do. I'm not saying that you take just anybody and stick them up there. Of course, you can't pick somebody that's a director of music and they don't know anything about music. Okay, we know that. Okay, but you have to train. Even if they don't, if you have some people in your choir that they are good singers, background singers, but they may not be, equipped to take on a level of choir directing or something. After you've given everybody a chance to do whatever it is they do, they may not be a soloist, they may not be a choir director or a musician. You can train them to be administration. You do need somebody to take attendance. You do need somebody to collect the dues. You do need somebody that can send out the texts and emails. You can find somebody is always willing to help you. And we just have to take advantage of the resources that we're given. And realizing that a great manager doesn't just manage people, but they inspire people to do more. We wear ourselves out too much. And that's something that needs to stop. Again, and as I mentioned before, make sure you set goals for your group. Make sure you pick the proper songs. You arrange songs in a way. Know your group. You got to know your choir. And it's kind of hard to get to know the choir if you don't really know yourself. Demetri Pitts says, you can have good directors and bad singers. You need to know the gifts in your group. Actually, yes, you do. And so that's why you need to be fair and share everybody. I gave you an example. I don't know if, it was months ago when I first started the group, how my mother, who is a second generation choir director, how she gave all of the children, she gave everybody, shout out to Don. Hey, Don. Gave all of the young people that were in the choir, teenagers, everybody, an opportunity to direct, to play an instrument, to do whatever. She gave all of them an opportunity before she gave me. Now, mind you, my mom didn't even know that I could play, I could sing, I could direct. She didn't know I could do all this stuff because I hid it from her. I didn't want her to know. I don't know what was going on in my mind. We won't even discuss that. But anyway, she gave all of the young people a chance to direct, all of them a chance to lead songs or whatever. And so when she gave me my opportunity, nobody could really say anything because I demonstrated what I could do. Same thing in your group. Give everybody a chance. I know some people are not the best singers, but give them a chance, you know what I'm saying? Give them a chance to do the solo. You know, because you don't want people in the choir. That's another thing that we do. Sometimes we just, okay. Give them an opportunity to sing the song. Maybe they can't sing like the other person, but you have to give them the opportunity. Because, you know, you're going to have people sitting in the background saying, they never gave me the chance to do anything, blah, blah, blah. That creates dissension in the choir. But if you give everybody a chance, you know, I'm not looking for perfections. I'm looking for willingness. Give each of them an opportunity to do, and that's how you be able to find out the talent in your group that then you can disperse or delegate to them. That is my main thing I want everybody to get. Those of you who delegate. Don't kill yourself. Delegate. I really want everybody to understand that. Just delegate. But you have to give everybody an opportunity to do in order to see what they can do. You have to do that. And I see one of my tenors just came in, Terrence Crowley. He can tell you I was really tough on him. Oh my God, I was tough on that little guy. Well, he's a grown man. I can't call him a little guy. That's my cousin, y'all, Terrence Crowley. Hey, Terrence. Hey, Jeremiah. Good to see you. But you have to give everybody a chance. I even gave him a chance one time to lead a song. And it shocked the nation. He always sang in the background. And then I put him up there to lead a song, and he like, oh wow, I didn't know I could do this, you know. So I mean, give everybody an opportunity and then find something for them to do. And remember, the more that you give off, the more that you allow them to do, the more it'll free you up, and you will find that there's less stress you'll be carrying. Seriously, because stress is not a good thing for you to have on the inside, but you'll find that it'll be easier for you. And if you get a chance, write up some bylaws or some rules, we call them rules, bylaws, for your choir. Every choir member should have a list of the bylaws or the rules of that particular department. Every department that I know, they have that. I don't know where mine is. I got to find them. I got to find them there somewhere. But I mean, most of the people in my choir, they know the rules, and I went over it with them and I gave them a copy. So they know what it is. I just need to find it because somebody was asking me for an example and I need to be able to produce it. But have a list of rules and things and expectations for your choir. That takes stress off of you too, because you can always say, well, I did tell you this, thus and so before we even got started. Do whatever you can to relieve the stress, because that's stress. If you take people in the choir and you don't talk to them and let them know what is required of them, just like you get a job, you give them a job description, they give you a job description, you're working for them. When the choir comes in, and I know these are volunteers, but you still need to let them know what they are required to do. Don Mary, yeah, Exactly, Don. Bylaws and rules are a good thing. You need to let them know what is required, how you're required to dress, how you're required to act in your life outside this building. Because we don't need to, the worst thing you do, we all in the four walls, and then we go out and sing somewhere, and then somebody see you on stage, know you participate, you know what I'm saying? Make sure they understand what is required. We collect dues. Every week, you're responsible for the X amount of dollars, let them know what the choir uniforms are, when you are required to sing, what you are required to do. You need to let people know. Because if you take them in and you don't let them know what's required, you're the one that's gonna be under stress. Because you're gonna sit there, why are they doing this? What? Well, you never sat down and talked to them and told them what is required. But if they do something and you've already talked to them about it, then you can remind them, I think you need to refer to the rules and regulations of this choir. I understand that you're a volunteer, but then there are some mandates that we need to follow. All of us, including myself. And that would just make life easier. Demetri Pitts said, yes. There should be a list of rules and responsibilities for all areas of music ministry. And Demetri, it just cut off on me. I can't read the rest of that. But I know it's good. But yeah, there should be a list of rules and responsibilities for all areas, including musicians, including worship leaders, the praise team. Anybody that is involved in the music department should know what their responsibility is. They should know. It shouldn't be anything foreign to them. They should know what is required. And that would make your department flow much easier. Sometimes exactly, that includes musicians too. Sometimes, I know a couple of people are starting, community choirs or whatever, and they just want to grab people and, get all of these folks in the choir, and we got a choir, but if you, like Dr. Nunn was telling us last week, there are so many rules and regulations, and then there are also legal things involved in having a choir. All we think about is just, okay, I got musicians, I got singers, I got this and that. But no, there are a lot of legal ramifications now. The world is totally different from where it was back in the day. Back in the day when I was a little girl, and even prior to that, you could just get an aggregation of people together, musicians. We all get together, we sing, we travel, we do all this different stuff. And it was all fine. But today is a new day. You have to update yourself, change your methods. Keep the same principles, but change the methods of how you do things. Things are different. And you need to govern yourself accordingly. As a leader, you just can't haphazardly do things. You have to think things through. It's a process. I know we don't like processes because they take time, but we need to follow the process. Create a process, standard documentation. Just like at work, we have standard work documentation where everybody follows the same thing. It's the same principle. I hate to say it, but it's the same principle with church choirs. It's the same thing with community choirs, performance show choirs. Everyone should be governed by rules and regulations. And you'll be surprised how much better it will be for you if you do that. Okay? So let's just recap this, and I'm not going to be long. I'm actually getting the logistics together for my next guest. I'm trying to get everything worked out because she's just as powerful as Dr. Cynthia Nunn, and I love her. I've been watching her for years, so we're trying to get everything together. In a couple of weeks, you will be hearing from her, getting nuggets. So number one, we want to shift the responsibility of learning music from ourselves to the choir. Put it on them. Send them to YouTube, wherever. Download the song, learn it on your own, so that takes the stress off of you when you come to rehearsal. You don't have to start from ground zero. If everybody's familiar with the song, at least you can start on level 10. You're not in the basement. You're at least on the first floor. And then you can arrange it or whatever you want to do from that point. Learn to delegate responsibilities. You're not superhuman. You're not a robot. Share the responsibility. Train people to come up behind you. Mentor. You're not losing anything if you mentor. Remember, mentor. Somebody had to mentor you. You need to do the same. Pull the next generation up. It's just like that movie Glory. When the guy that was holding the guide iron, when he went down, another guy came and picked it up. That's the way we're supposed to roll in these rehearsals. That's the way we're supposed to roll, period, in our lives. But definitely when you're in leadership over a department. Number three, remember the limitations of your choir. And I use that word loosely. In other words, I'm saying know what your choir is capable of singing. know what they're capable of doing, and teach them and help them go higher. But do not give them songs that should be sang by somebody that has a degree in music. It's not going to work. You're going to be frustrated all the time. You're going to be, beating your fist and yelling and screaming at people, but you already started well above their I just lost the word, but you're well above what they're able to do, above their pay grade in the sense of speaking. I should have used another word, but you're higher than their level of understanding. Make sure you start where they are. Know the talent in your group. Okay, sometimes people get frustrated because you're trying to do something that's not in your group. Learn your group. Develop them at the level where they are. And then go higher. Do that. Okay? And that will relieve your frustration. Plan your music. Keep it, in documentation form, whether it's on spreadsheet or whether it's in your phone or you got a sheet of paper on the side. Keep up with the songs that you're singing. Keep up with them and know what you did at any given time so that you will be able to, you won't be redundant. Singing I Come That You Might Have Life every third Sunday. No, you should, if you sing it this third Sunday, then you shouldn't be singing it to maybe December. You know what I'm saying? Or keep it, wait till the service gets a little dry and then that song works. So then you take over. Demetri Pitt says, please mentor. You can drop dead at any moment. Exactly. And right now, I'm telling you, within the last, month, it has been so many musicians and directors and singers dying. And they're not old. They're in their 40s. They're in early 50s. So you need to mentor. Don't be afraid to teach people. Mentor. Okay? Thank you, Melissa. I'm trying to teach. Mentor. There's so many people leaving this world so fast. Teach the ones behind you. Don't let the ministry fail because you're afraid to be replaced. You're going to be replaced. Maybe not now, but eventually it's going to happen. So plan your music. Mentor the generation coming behind you. But most importantly, take care of yourself. Your physical self. Demetrius says, correct. Even consider retirement as the Levites were mandated. Exactly. At that point, I already told quite a few people, I'm not dying in any position. I'm not going to die. If what I'm saying? You teach people to come behind you. And if there's somebody that is qualified and able to do the job as well as I can, or even they're close in the ballpark, then guess what? I'm going to move over to a counselor position and let them come in and learn and take over like I was done. And the mentor just sat alongside of you and guided you along the way so that you would, you make less mistakes than everybody else. That's what we have to do. Take a break to avoid stagnation. Take vacations, take breaks, take a day off. Okay? Like Demetri Pitt, she said, I know that's right. That's why I retired. Right. If you got a qualified staff and there is somebody there that can take that choir on to the next level, let them do it. You become the counselor. It's a circle of life. You become the counselor. And that takes nothing from you. You understand? Because there is, right, Jeremiah, always share the wealth. You know what? One thing I've learned in my short time, and I'm still, I'm still a music, over the music department, and I'm training the younger people on how to be a director and how to grow. But my thing is I want them. One thing I've learned, that's my thought. One thing I've learned, no matter how much information I give out, they will never know as much as I know. You understand what I'm saying? Because with you being a teacher, it's so much that you have given to the group that it's impossible for me to teach you everything that I know. I mean, I'm in my early 50s. I've been a choir director since I was 9 years old. There is no way I can tell you everything that I know. I tell you, whatever comes to my mind when I go and visit people, their rehearsals or their concerts or whatever, I can tell you off the top of my head, what I saw. and somebody may ask me about it and then I do a show on it or whatever. But it's impossible for me to tell you everything that I know. Like Demetria Pitts, she's been she's a retired director of music. It's even if she's sharing with me, it's impossible for her to tell me every single thing that she knows, because she learned so much more probably before I even got started. Really knew what my name was, what I really was supposed to be doing. She was already in the job, and she had mentors that did her the same way. Exactly. Hey, Pre, that's my sister, y'all. Pre Garrett, that's my little sister. That's my assistant, actually. I told you all before, she's actually my assistant. Demetria says, actually, that's how your legacy lives on. Exactly. Like, we have people, like, everybody pretty much knows Dr. Maddie Moss Clark. Everybody know her as a great, everybody know the Clark sisters. It's just, but they share, and then you have so many young people coming behind that's learning from them. And, and that's why I said that my final thing is that you got to know who you are. If you know who you are, you're not, my niece likes my outfit. All right, thank you, Duchess. Know who you are. And if you do that, then you don't have a problem sharing the knowledge. You don't have a problem sharing the wealth. I can share, hey, Damon, thank you for being here. You don't have a problem sharing because it's not taking anything from you. Actually, it enhances you as a leader. It actually does. It enhances you, and it opens you up to be blessed even more, because you're giving back to those, you're pouring into somebody else that poured into you. Okay? And like I said, everything that you learn, you won't be able to give it out anyway. But as time goes on, you'll be a better person for it, because in order to receive more, you got to give out something. And then somebody that's high that you admire is going to pour into you, and then you pour into somebody else, and it keeps going. That's how the legacy of greatness continues. And I'm not trying to go off into another teaching, but Demetria, exactly. She says, know who you are in God. You got to. You got to know who you are in God. And when you know who you are, it's no stress, it's no strain. I just do the job. I enjoy myself, and I keep rolling and keep moving, because I'm not losing anything. Okay? You're not losing anything. Listen, I'm going to cut off. I hope I said something to encourage each of you. I thank Demetria, Priscilla, Damon, Jeremiah, Don was on here, Melissa was on here, Terrence Crowley, who else? Mother Harris was on here, Aaron Simpson, Timothy Johnson. I appreciate all of you and everyone else that will be viewing this at a later time. I hope I said something to encourage you, because that was my intent. I really want to just inspire people to not only do your job well, but to grow. You can't grow if you hold on to everything. I really hope that I said something to help you out. These little shows I do try to do 30 minutes just to say something to encourage you, because there's a lot of church directors out there. We out there on our own. We like a ship in the middle of the ocean. Nobody's out there to help us and, kind of train us and mentor us. And so I just started this to just try to encourage, because, I hear from people all the time say, I don't have anybody that I can really talk to, because the people that you're trying to emulate or you want to be like, they, it's kind of hard to reach them. It is. Let's just keep it real. It's kind of hard to reach them. So I figure there are a lot of unsung heroes out there, and that's who I'm trying to help and encourage and let you know that you're not out here by yourself. Somebody has already traveled that road. And I'm just here to share and to, enlighten. And I have my friend, I call her my Lady of Wisdom, Demetria Williams Pitts. She's a retired music director. I have Dr. I'll call him Professor John Henry. He's actually a professor at North Carolina A&T. He comes on and gives bits of wisdom. I try to get all my friends and everybody that I know to come in and leave some words. So you can always go back and review the video and get some inspiration. We all here I just want to inspire as much as I can before I expire from this world. That's all. So at least you can say, you may not remember my name, even though it's Angela Elaine, but you can say, there was some girl that was on, some lady that was on Facebook. She always said something to encourage me. Hey, then my living is not in vain. Who was that? I just seen somebody else saying, Timothy Johnson said, you are doing an excellent job. I thank God for you in these sessions. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you so very much. That makes it all worth it. That makes it all worth it. Just to know that I'm inspiring somebody and I'm helping somebody. Thank you, Lady of Wisdom. Bless you too. And you all take care until next week. I think I'm going to do a quick show next week, and then my special guest will come in the following week. You're going to love her. You really are. She's a dynamic lady. And then I got some other people that lined up every month. I got a guest coming in, and then I got a surprise guest. We're trying to work his schedule out. That's going to be a real shocker definitely for the millennials. It's going to be a shocker to see him. We're trying to work that thing out with him. He's excited to share, and I'm thankful that he is. I'm not telling you his name, but I declare when I put the promo out there, you're going to be excited. But I want each of you to have a wonderful evening. I thank you for joining me and not letting me talk about myself. Thank you, Duchess, my niece. I have to give her a shout out, because if not, she's gonna be like, TT didn't say anything about me. Duchess, I appreciate you tuning in, and we got a workout section coming up. We got a workout session. I'm training her to take my place. Yes, I am. And she's very smart, and she's on her way. We got to train the young people. Bring them up as the way they should be. Everybody, enjoy your weekend. Timothy, I haven't forgotten you. I'm going to try to find it. If I don't find it, I'm going to get it to you by Saturday. I promise you, I will do that. Saturday. I will have it to you by Saturday. But you all have a lovely evening. If I don't say anything else to you this week, have a great weekend. Enjoy wherever you are in this world. Enjoy. And may the peace of God be with you always. Good night, everybody. Peace.